So let's see draft process. Wukong gets banned, even though Blabber can play Udyr. Blabber can play Udyr, and Wukong is just, I mean, he's, oh my god, he's probably one of the grossest overhyped champions in the entire game right now. Okay, Zeri gets banned away on red. They banned Draven Kalista. Both these bans I think are bad, because one, Kalista's terrible, and then two, Draven is also bad unless you draft bad. So Draven's a reactionary pick, because we already know that C9 doesn't, they won't flex Draven, so it's not even like you have to worry about something like that. Poppy gets banned away. So Poppy's something that can obviously be drafted around, and then Senna gets banned on blue. So we're thinking, I guess, at this point, like us Twitch chat, we're thinking that like they think that EG is going to B1 Senna or something. Zeri Senna obviously banned. All right, we move forward. Sivir gets picked. So Sivir's kind of funny. Reason that Sivir's funny is because Sivir can bolster, or she can empower the team compositions that beat what she's weak to, which is poke. Because obviously she flourishes with hard engage, but she's very bad against poke. She's still pretty bad against protect, and so like Juggernaut type thingy-majiggies, things of that nature. So the Yumi response here is okay. Yumi hover. It does open up for Sona, which then you have Sivir Sona, I guess. So when you do pick the Yumi this early on, it does open up for that. If you pass on Yumi and then they take Yumi for some reason, then you get access to Sona, but that would be an R3, R4, R5 pick. So then you move forward, they take the Twitch, so they show their hand. I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty, I think it would be relatively standard to just go Sona jungle in this spot. I think Sona jungle in this spot probably just makes the most sense. I think so Hecarim, unfortunately, is in a kind of bad spot. So because Hecarim's in a kind of bad spot, I don't think it's the best thing that you can be happy about picking. I think if Hecarim wasn't in such a bad spot right now, then Sona Hecarim would be fine. No, Sona jungle. Sona and jungle pick. So you take Sona and then you take jungle pick. Because all that you're trying to do right now is you're trying to layer what they're responding with. Now, when they take Twitch and they take Yumi, they're trying to layer the Sivir scaling, but you just have to relayer it, and Sona allows you to relayer it. But you can't reveal anything because you need to know more development of their draft before you commit to your draft. So you can just mirror the Sona at this point. That way you reapply another layer to the cake, and then you choose, like, you know, in the past I would call it like a gray champion. You would just choose something that is standard and plays against a wide range of things, but that also goes with your champions while waiting for more development from the enemy team. So champion like that would obviously be Hecarim, but Hecarim's not in the best the best state right now. Let's move on from there. We've already established that it's Sona X, and then we respond from there. Instead, they're not going with Sona. They are going of the same school of thought, which is similar to Sona. Lulu, in theory, has multi-flex potential, but I doubt that people are going to, you know, move her mid or move her top lane or something like that. But she would go into the same school of thought that Sona would be. And then you move on, and they pick Ahri. So we have our first blunder in the draft. So at this point, you have Sivir, you have Lulu, you have Ahri, who is also going in. The issue is that Ahri technically does the thing that I was talking about with, like, the jungle, where she goes along with what her two teammate champions are doing, and she sort of does go against many things. But the problem is that Ahri has more weakness in that she's a lot more susceptible to a theme than any of the other surrounding champions. So this is where, like, this is where a blunder starts to come in. So C9 just responds mid lane here, and then C9 goes jungle on R4, and then they go top laner on R5. That would probably just always be the sequence of champions that happens here. I think it's very unlikely that anything else will end up happening at this point in time, other than mid R3, jungle R4, and then top lane R5. I don't think there's any other sequence. So LeBlanc is also a terrible champion pick. LeBlanc is being picked for vacuum purposes into the Ahri, but I think that Ahri would be much happier in most cases. I think Twitch wants to overdose on whatever poison made him that way at this point, and I think that Yumi has probably gotten depressed and stopped looking for her owner. That's what I would imagine is happening when LeBlanc actually gets selected on R3. So now that LeBlanc is there on R3, yeah, C9's chances inside of the draft went from heavily winning to now heavily losing, and they've put themselves on the back foot. The layering that they, ended up having is now gone, and they've fallen behind EG in draft. Now everything gets a lot harder to play out from this point in time. Because when you think about a lot of the jungle pairings, you start thinking about really stupid, completely comatose jungler pairings with LeBlanc, like Lee Sin. And you start thinking about other really fucking stupid jungle combinations like Vi LeBlanc, and you start thinking about like these really bad jungle combos that are predicated on getting ahead early or something. And that doesn't make any fucking sense when you open Twitch and Yumi on R1, R2. And when someone makes the argument that, you want to have this like strong mid jungle duo to help out the Twitch Yumi brother, yeah, that's absolutely amazing. That isn't an excuse to choose like the 10th best in slot or the 11th best in slot champions, when you can just choose better in slot champions that still allow you to do the same exact fucking thing. So it's not really an argument. Gwen ends up getting banned away, and then Jarvan gets banned away. I mean, this is stuff that I'm talking about. The Lee Sin ban's a joke. You should implore them to pick Lee Sin, because you already fucked up so bad by picking LeBlanc. Gwen getting banned away is sort of like whatever, but unfortunately, like, imagine that this is Sona, Sona and Lulu, right? And the enemy gets access to Gwen. Even if you do have counterpick on R5, it's already going to be a little bit weird, because you have Donkey LeBlanc, and then you're going to have probably Donkey jungler to go with LeBlanc, because your idea is that you need to win early, even though it happens 1 in 10 games. But you just remember the one game that it happens, and you forget the other 9 where it doesn't. So let's see what their last ban is. So their last ban is going to be Kale. I feel like this actually signifies that Ornn is probably coming. So they know that the sequence at this point will end up be going jungle, and then this will be Ornn pick, and now you don't have access to Kale. And now, because you have the LeBlanc, what probably should end up happening is you should choose a jungler that's really good with an enchanter, because you know that this is going to be Ornn on R4 or R5, because that's probably what the Kale ban is. And I say this because in most pro teams in the world, we don't actually think very deeply about draft. So bans often will end up signifying a lot about the champion that is likely coming. So when you see the Kale ban, I think that you can deduce with like very, very high accuracy that Ornn is actually coming on R4, R5. So if this is actually the case, whatever fucking jungler pick you wanted to pick right now can't actually be the jungler pick, because you have to measure that the Kale was just banned, and that there's a high probability that Ornn is coming on R4, R5. Now the problem is that some of your jungle pool is extremely limited. You don't have access to a lot of AP junglers or anything like that, because you randomly picked one of the worst champions in the game, LeBlanc. But you do have to choose a jungler that is really good with enchantment. You have to choose something like Xin Zhao or something. That way you can go an enchanter in top lane, so you can run a double enchanter comp. That way you have Xin Zhao and you have Twitch to act as your primary carries or something like that. Now you might be saying, LS, but we still have a LeBlanc on our team. No, we don't. We're actually just playing a 4v5 at this point, and all that she's doing is giving us a little bit of damage with distortion, because she's a useless fucking champion who's going to be carried throughout this goddamn game. So that's what's going on with LeBlanc right now. We're trying to ignore the fact that we have her. This is like getting assigned the worst kid in your group in a group class project, okay? We're actually assigned the school lesson, and our teacher gave us the worst kid in the class, okay? We are trying our best to pick the other, like, basically, you like 2 people and 1 random person get assigned a group, and then you're struggling to find the other 2 best kids in the classroom so that you can actually get through your group fucking project. So it's pretty much, there's that. So let's continue on. So Viego. So the thing about Viego that doesn't make any sense is the enemy team is extremely high mobility. The enemy team has more options than your team has, because LeBlanc. The Viego isn't the same thing as the Xin Zhao. The Viego isn't the same thing as, well, I mean, not Hecarim, but like the Bel'Veth thing that we were just talking about, etc. Because even if you go double enchanter at this point, you're putting actually way too much pressure on the Twitch, because the Viego does not have as much power as, say, a Xin Zhao or something in a low economy game, or if the game is just totally totally even as we head into mid game or something like that. And you really have to bolster the fact that you have a Twitch and stuff. So the Viego's a really, really bad pick. Because it's just very down the list that doesn't leave Fudge with a lot of options in top lane. Ornn gets locked in, and then they hover Vi. I mean, but in the same vein, the problem is that, again, they are going to want a physical damage jungler. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are going to want a physical damage jungler. Or they're going to want a jungler that doesn't really incentivize magic resistance buying. So their jungle pool is going to be a little bit more limited. I do think that like Udyr is something that you probably could pick, and all would be well. Even if you do pick Udyr in this spot, obviously they go Vi. So you know, I think it's a little bit. It is further down the list from Udyr, but. You know, you hand it back over to Cloud9, and now with this type of team composition, I mean, what do you pass to Fudge? I mean, you pass it over to Fudge, and then Fudge is thinking, okay, what is best in slot in this exact situation? One of the things that you could say is that this is primarily a 1 damage team composition with the Sivir in a lot of ways. Now, obviously, like Ornn and Vi, they come with their base damages and everything like that. But if we want to talk about a really bastardized Mordekaiser situation, this probably could be one of them. That way Mord can just sort of be on his own, but at the same time, that's also sort of like a very cheesy thing. It's further away from the Enchanter thing, but we can't really be thinking about the Enchanter thing because we already compromised the Enchanter thing by having LeBlanc and Viego. So I think going double Enchanter top lane at this point is less viable. All of this isn't as good, so I think that you start actually unironically looking at things like fucking Mordekaiser, and it really pains you to do that, but it's how it is. I think that you do start looking at stuff like Gangplank. Even though he has been nerfed, it wouldn't be the reason that you would be picking him inside of this game. You would be picking him for his mid and late game prowess and his ability to help out Twitch in that regard. So I think all of these things considered have to be thought processes that you go through at this point in time. So you can't do double Enchanter. If you pick Fiora, you have to win by split pushing. So I don't think that Fiora is necessarily a great champion. If you pick Tryndamere here, again, it's not a very good setup. The whole draft is ruined by R3 because it limits options in a lot of ways inside of the jungle. The Viego then takes away your ability to go Enchanter's top lane. So had they picked Xin Zhao here, had this been Xin Zhao or had this been Belvosi, and had she been flex top plus jungle and the enemy responds exactly Ornn Vi, then what you would end up doing is you would recognize that Vi's ability to keep up with Belveth inside of the jungle is very low. Alternatively, at that point, you could just go Udyr and have Belveth in top lane. That would be a thing. You could go Udyr jungle and put Belveth top lane against Ornn, and that would be fine. Alternatively, you keep Belveth inside of the jungle, and now you choose an Enchanter in top lane. You probably take like Ornn. Or not Ornn, sorry, Zillion. You probably take Zillion or something, and you put Zillion in top lane. So you'd play Belveth Zillion. That would probably be fine. So there's a lot of ways I think in North America and specifically against teams that don't draft to save the draft on R4. But again, like, do they play these champions? I have no fucking clue. You know, but obviously LeBlanc makes you feel like you literally had a food eating challenge and then immediately after it you guzzled a 32-ounce laxative bottle of laxatives. So it just feels bad. So they end up picking Sejuani, which is a terrible champion. It doesn't serve any purpose. Their idea is that somehow they're going to set up some like miracle like pick engage and just burst someone immediately or something with Sejuani's fucking glacial prison. Is that even the name of her ultimate? I think it is. This is kind of akin to like the Gangplank thing where like by the same line of thought you could Gangplank R someone while Twitch is in stealth and kill them. That doesn't require Sejuani to be visible on the map. So Gangplank has a lot more insurance in mid and late game than a Sejuani does. You don't actually need like a tank or something like that in this team composition because likewise the enemy team has like they have Ornn as a tank, but everything else for the most part is relatively easy to handle inside of team fights. It doesn't really matter. I just want to see how the game ended up unfolding. Again, it's always a list of champions that you can pick. Okay. So with no priority, Blabber goes in, ends up having to blow his flash. So they have no real priority in mid. Blabber goes in. So he did 3 camp red and then immediately went to Vi's Raptors. I mean, okay. He ends up getting the Scuttle Crab. This is fine. So Impact is... Alright, so they have to know that Viego's obviously top lane right now because they saw Viego at the Wraith camp, so they know what Viego's spawn timers are on top lane. Impact's wasting his time. There's never... So Impact has 2 cookies, but the thing is that with this wave, look at this wave's proximity right here, okay? Look at this wave's proximity. This wave hits this turret at 5 minutes. Okay, so this wave hits this turret at 5 minutes, which means that you have till about 5:04 to make sure that the wave does not freeze. So you have till like 5:04, right? And instead of just shoving out the wave with, you know, Q&E popping a cookie and shoving it, because, you know, I mean, even if his logic is that, like, oh, Viego could be here if he E's and, you know, tries to shove the wave or something like that. Well, also, likewise, if Viego's here and you trade on the Sejuani, you're not really doing anything, because if Viego comes out of the mist, then you just lose the minions anyway, because you get forced off the minions. So the logic isn't consistent. It just doesn't make any sense to do the trade that he just did on Fudge, because all that it means is that now he's forced to stay in this lane for this wave. I mean, he'll pop both of his cookies, but he could have just gotten that wave and then escorted it up a little bit further, and then Vi could, I guess, come up, if the theory is that Viego's going to end up ganking you. But that just doesn't make sense. I think I've said this before, when LeBlanc was getting picked in spring and stuff. She goes forward. That was a weird distortion, or not distortion, It's a weird lane state for JoJo. She goes forward here. Vi is here. Okay. JoJo ends up shoving the wave, and now JoJo's going to be out of everything. Wait, what? Okay, so it looks like... Alright, so JoJo... Like, so this really does look like... So pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. It really does look like JoJo Pion might just recall, but even still, you could just say that Ahri is missing. Now, this is a pretty fine, like, Ahri missing thing, where you could signify that, like, Ahri might end up being top lane. And even though this just happened, Fudge just went in on Impact. What the fuck is going on? What is going on? You could just say Ahri is, like, missing. Because she has no HP when she disappears, but she has 3 corrupting potions, right? One of the things that you could also do is you could click on Ahri and see that she had 3 corrupting potions queued. Now, you could assume as Jensen that she's just doing that to go back to full HP, but would Ahri want to do that to go back to full HP? Because, I mean, look at the item difference in terms of gold. Everything's a little bit suzzed. Fudge should just never die to the gank. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Either they're not talking, but how are they not talking? Literally nothing's happening in the fucking game. It just doesn't even make any sense how he dies. Okay, so he dies. They get the first Infernal Dragon. That's obviously really big for them because they need Soul in order to be able to win. Now Fudge comes back into top lane, starts trading onto Impact. He has Glacial Prison. Blabber is there, but they're not going to cast it. Okay. Not going to cast it. Big fight down in Boodum lane. Berserker will get tagged. Okay. And Berserker does go down. So it ends up being a 1-for-1, but it's better for EG's bot lane. But they do kill Impact up in top lane, which is a victory. So it's better for EG's bot lane to get the kills and stuff there because Twitch disappears from getting the EXP because of the minions remaining. JoJo's fine in mid. Okay, they're starting Rift Herald. JoJo going forward onto, nice attempt there onto Jensen. Gets the flash out of him. And C9, I mean, I would say that C9 right now in this game are in a pretty okay spot, all things considered. They're in an okay spot. They have the 1 dragon. They're likely going to get the 2nd dragon. I think that's how you would read this current in-game status. Everything's fine right now. They need to roll, like, in this game, they would probably want to roll a really good dragon. They want to roll, like, Mountain. Hextech would have been the best dragon for them to roll because they have Twitch. But obviously Hextech was the first dragon in the game. So they want to roll Mountain, and if not Mountain, then they want to roll Ocean in that order. Divine Blunderer picked up on Viego. And then what happens? How does Jensen die here? What is going on? What is he even doing? Wait, what? He shoves in a wave. He runs over onto the right-hand side because Vi was clearing something. He doesn't even have a pink ward. There's no dragon, okay? If Vi walked forward to check this brush and Vi has Vault Breaker, if Vi goes forward to check this brush and then what on earth is going on? He wanted to come down to replace a fucking... For what reason, man? Ward doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. What? Okay. Hextech Dragon ends up getting taken. I mean, this is all a fine state for C9 still. They get the second dragon. Okay, Blabber now coming down into bot lane. Vi is very behind in CS department. Fudge is fine, even though he had that one really bad death. Okay. Heartbreaker, get the kill on impact. Alright. 2,000 gold lead right now for C9, and they're up 2 Drakes. This is all good. This is all really good. Jensen dies again on useless LeBlanc. Okay, Mountain Dragon fight. Wait, are C9 advantageous for this? Hold on. Ornn is stronger than Sej at this fight. Vi is stronger than Viego. Ahri, LeBlanc are even. I would say Sivir is probably more valuable than Twitch in this fight, but Yumi has Moonstone, so... And then Vulcan unironically has Oblivion Orb because he has never put his mouse cursor over that item during laning phase against a Yumi. He's never put his mouse cursor over the item. Holy shit. Biggest waste of 800 gold in my... It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. Alright. Let's see. They're posturing. Jojo wants to go around the right-hand side. Okay. It's going to come down to a smite fight, I guess. Dragon's going to reset, no? Ornhorn comes out. Blabber gets separated. How does this even happen? Jensen misses chain. But, I mean, he can't stand toe-to-toe with Ahri because he's not ahead. He's not, like, ahead, so he can't just walk at Ahri. And then, obviously, even if he walks at Ahri right here, Vulcan will just walk to the wall and then bolster Ahri. So, like, everything's just bad. Everything's just bad. I mean, I think maybe... Fudge has Glacial Precision, right? Yeah, I think if Fudge reacts... So, right here, I'm pretty sure the play is that Fudge flings his R at Jojo. Right? As the Spirit Rush animation's on, I think he throws the R, and that... But even still, I mean, Jojo can react to it, right? Jojo can just react. So, like, it's a doomed... I think a lot of it has to just be on the set. I mean, all of the pre-setup is definitely bad. Fudge should never go in that far. He should never walk forward. That walk forward's really bad. That's bad. How do we prevent the problem and not fix it? You know about Ahri up here. Yeah, Fudge should be further down. Fudge should just be further back. He can't be this far up. He can't be. It doesn't matter that his role is a tank. Because I don't know, maybe their logic is that they pick a tank because they need a tank. I don't know what the logic is. I really don't. But the Fudge is not a tank in this game. He is a pick. He is a pick card. He is a TF gold card. That is what his R is in the context of this game. So it doesn't make any sense what he's doing. When they lose Mountain there, the game gets really bad. Because they lose the ability to threaten Soul. They need Soul to win because their comp is worse. Okay, so what is this? We have 20 seconds until Mountain Dragon. LeBlanc is coming up through mid lane. They're on the right-hand side. Again, Fudge needs to not act as the tank. He needs to just act as a pick. He just needs to act as a... Okay, well, that was really slow. That was really slow. What the hell? What the hell? How does this happen? How does Vi just, like... It's like everyone's just watching. The R should have already been thrown, no? I mean, Danny has R too. What on earth? How does this even happen? I mean, Berserker is just so far forward, by the way. He's actually griefing. He is so far forward. But how does this even happen? Holy shit. But again, you can tell that the way that they think the champions should be played, the way that they think that it should be played, isn't reflective of how it should be played. C9's comp, whether they want to accept it or not, is a pick comp. It is a pseudo assassination comp. That is what it is. It is a glacial prison into Twitch stealth with Yumi assassination. That's it. And if they can't get it, then they need to posture to where Fudge's R is the opening play. Nothing else. There's nothing else. There is quite literally nothing else. That is their comp, in a nutshell. Because they have a dog water fucking mid laner champion. And then they have a random Twitch Yumi paired with champions that don't scale in a random Viego. Oh my lord. Ah, it sucks. Alright, well. They don't get how the comp plays. So because they don't get how the comp plays, you also don't get an honest interpretation of the comp. It's like, imagine playing a control deck, okay, and not trying to use your counter spells on key things, right? Imagine picking a control deck and trying to play it as if it were an aggro deck, right? Imagine, like, this is literally the article I always talk about, that who's the beatdown, right? Who's the beatdown? So, when you don't understand who's the beatdown, you reach false conclusions about champions or what your comp should be doing. So how do you fix who's the beatdown? Well, you keep running it until you realize who's the beatdown. And then when you realize who's the beatdown and it alters your perception, or it can change your perception of the exact same deck being played in a different way and thus gaining access to different situations or different results, you then grow in knowledge. Dude, this is literally like the stupid C9 fucking subreddit morons, right? That take the what was the fucking thing that I was getting flamed for? Dude, the absolute brain damaged people commenting about the Sven comments that when I was at C9, I would make the C9 team just run the same draft back and back and back, and it's totalitarian to do that, and it's really toxic for me to do that, and yada yada yada. Yeah, we ran the same draft back and back and back. Want to know why we ran the same draft back and back and back? Because who's the beatdown? So when they keep losing to the academy team, because in every single game they're playing an enchanter comp with Ivern incorrectly. They're not letting just Ivern ball, okay? Because they're trying to be the aggressors when they're not the aggressors. And they keep losing. We're gonna do it till we get it right. We're gonna stop playing a control deck aggro, because you gravitate towards, as a solo queue mindset or as a natural mindset, seeing champions in a certain light and defaulting to a functional fixedness way of playing those champions. No, we're not doing that. We're going to figure out who's the beatdown, and we're gonna run it till you can figure out who's the beatdown. And when you figure out who's the beatdown, the enemy can't do anything. It's literally it, man! Morons with no idea of game theory commenting about Zen's interpretation of running the same draft and how that must be so dreadful and yada yada. Yeah, it must be dreadful to learn how to fucking play your comp. Wow. Oh man, woe is me. There's just an article, just Google Who's the Beatdown by Michael Flores. It is an iconic article in TCG that describes what happens when people play the same deck two different ways. And you play it with intention to do something that you normally wouldn't with the same exact cards, and thus by doing so you achieve a different result because you play everything. Zen, yes, I don't understand how, like, they could watch the Sven highlight thing and then take away that Sven is, like, flaming me or anything in that video. It is the weirdest cognitive dissonance that you could ever imagine. It is the weirdest thing in the world. I have no idea. Yes, if people pick if people pick a Juggermaw, imagine going back to season 7 Juggermaw, okay, or something, and no one plays to just play around Kog'Maw or Twitch, right? Imagine going back to season 7 and you play 10 scrims in a row and no one tries to deathball with Kog'Maw. You have the tank in the jungle going forward, the mid laner just abandoning Kog'Maw, and no one's just trying to protect Kog. Well, it's like, that's not Juggermaw. That's not the point of the thing. So if you play 10 scrims and no one's trying to protect Kog'Maw and you lose all 10 scrims, you're going to keep playing until people just learn to protect Kog'Maw. What? These people have never played TCGs or like, or any game in their life at a high level. It is like, and then these practices that I know to be accurate, or that even if we want to say that the experiences are subjective, you can find it in so many different games. People forget how many games I've played or been a part of at a professional level. So many different genres, TCGs, RTSs, and MOBAs. And it's like these things that people wouldn't bat an eyelid to doing the same thing over and over and over, especially not in an RTS, and especially not in a TCG. But the idea that running the same thing and then calling it salty runbacks or something like that, it's a salty runback when the draft is losing. Yes, that's a salty runback. When you have a losing draft and you run it back over and over and over, it's not a salty runback when the draft is winning, but you're playing it in a way that doesn't allow it to win, which is who's the beatdown. And that's literally the whole point, but there's not enough context. Oh my god. And the other thing that is like a caveat onto like the stuff that Sven said, the only reason that I can confidently sit there and even somehow run the scrims back time and time and time again is because when I watch the game where they're failing who's the beatdown, I can actually say how they're failing who's the beatdown. How can I say how they're failing who's the beatdown? Well, because Sven's already fucking alluded to that in the sense that I was able to directly talk with the players from all different roles about things that they were doing wrong inside of the game on a fundamental level. Weird. Weird. Me caveman, me not reach conclusion like that. Idiots. I can't deal. I can't. I just can't deal with it. That is literally so many League fans, dude. Dude, I just wish I could read their fucking comments in Orcish. Everything's just Loktar or Gar. Like, I don't even know, man. I can't. Oh my god.